democracy and science in America. Some people canceled their inaugurations outside for weather warmer than this. But we're out here fighting for science, you know. Neil deGrasse Tyson, who lived in Maryland when he was a professor at the University of Maryland, he said, the great thing about science is it's true whether or not you believe in it. And the great thing about democracy is it's going to win against the autocrats, the plutocrats, the theocrats, the dictators, the despots, and the enemies of science. Now, I've spoken to constituents who've been terminated because they're on probation. And they're on probation because they were promoted. In other words, they're terminated because they were just promoted because they were doing such a good job. That's stupid. That's cruel. That's as stupid and cruel as selling out our democratic allies in Europe, right? That's as stupid and cruel as selling out the people of Ukraine to Vladimir Putin and his filthy fascist invasion. Now, they're waging war on the healthcare workers in America. I've got constituents who are doing the critical research America needs into AIDS and HIV, into autism, into breast cancer, into colon cancer, into leukemia, into cystic fibrosis, into multiple sclerosis, into malignant narcissistic personality disorder, okay? All of the deadly diseases threatening America today. Now, why would we do that? I could understand if Vladimir Putin came over here and wanted to turn our medical and scientific institutions upside down. I could understand if Kim Jong-un or President Xi wanted to do that. I could understand if the neo-fascist parties in Europe wanted to do that. But why does our own government want to turn against our own people? It's a scandal. It's a disgrace in 2025. Well, thousands of healthcare workers were fired starting on February 14th. Our very own Valentine's Day massacre against federal workers. And I just want everybody to be clear. This is in blatant, flagrant, naked violation of the civil service laws. The heart of the civil service is you can't fire people for political reasons. You can fire them only for poor performance or professional misconduct, like embezzling money from the government. These are people who have superior work evaluations, and yet they've been sacked in total violation of the civil service laws and in total violation of the First Amendment. The reason they're being fired is because they won't bow down to Donald Trump and Elon Musk. But the people of America are going to stand up for the scientists and the health researchers that we need. So, excuse me? Yes, well, we're looking for a few good Republicans to come over and join the Democrats and overturn this radical assault on science and healthcare in America. But I want to close with this thought, because the people you see in front of you today, these are the people who are fighting the viruses that threaten the American people. They're fighting the bird flu, which is starting to be out of control across the country. But fascism is a virus too, okay? Fascism is a virus too. And the people who are out here fighting in sub-freezing temperatures, they are the antibodies. We are the antibodies. And my friends, a rally a day keeps the fascists away, okay? We are going to spread these rallies not just all over Washington, D.C., in front of the federal departments and agencies that are being attacked, and not just all over the state capitals where people have been meeting, but all over America. We are going to build up massive herd immunity to the fascists in America. That's what we're going to do. So, well, I'd like to, let's see, do I get to introduce Glenn or no? Somebody else? You introduce him? All right, then I leave you with my chant. Did you like it? Hey, hey, RFK. It's off the FDA. Hey, hey, RFK. Hands off the FDA.
Hey, hey, RFK. Hands off the FDA.
All right. Yeah.
When we fight,
We win.
when we fight,
We win.
when we fight,
We win. All right. Excellent. Now, next to the stage, Congressman Glenn Ivey, representative of Maryland's 4th District and champion of healthcare everywhere.
All right. How's everybody doing? UAW, are you doing all right? All right. NIH, are you doing all right? All right. We got to keep fighting on this. You know, it's a scary day. It's a scary period. I know it's been something for you all. I'm a cancer survivor. I lost my father to Alzheimer's and Parkinson combined. I lost my mother to heart disease. The things that you all are doing, the research that you're doing is making a difference. We're all counting on you to continue to have a chance to work. And that's why we're here to fight the administration to make sure we can continue allowing you all to do the basic research that we need to save lives, not just here in the United States, but across the world, right? Absolutely, absolutely. And we need to make sure we keep the pressure on every day. I really want to thank you all for coming out here today. When I heard the report of the weather last night, I said, man, it's going to be a low turnout event. But aren't we all here strong today? Yeah, out here strong today. I thought about the Montgomery bus boycott. They marched day after day through the winter, all the way to work and back. You guys are out here carrying on that tradition, and you're going to make a difference just like they did, right? Absolutely. We got to keep going. We need every mini march on Washington day after day to push this forward. We got to fight to take the Congress back. We got to wait 2 years to do it, but we're going to take it back, right? We're going to make Hakeem Jeffries the Speaker of the House in 2 years, right? Yeah, we got to make that difference. And we've got to make sure we keep pushing the Republicans now. I know it's important for us to try and fight to make sure government workers can keep their jobs today, and we're going to keep working on it day after day. But we've got to flip those 3 Republicans in the House to make them do it. Some of them represent government workers just like you, right? Some of them represent people who get sick from diseases you're doing the research on, right? Some of them represent people who are working to make a difference in science and make a difference in the country, right? That's why we know we're going to win. You're doing the right things. You're on the right side of history. You're on the right side of science. On to victory. Keep up the great work. Have a great day.
stand up. Stand up. Fight back. Stand up. Fight back. Stand up. Fight back.
Next up, we have one of our fearless researchers, postdoctoral researcher at Johns Hopkins University with UAW postdoc researchers organized, Dr. Jaime Eugene von Hardy.
Thank you very much. How you doing? There's a lot of cold here, but we are very far up, right? So good afternoon, my fellow researchers, family, friends, future union siblings, and concerned citizens, also congressmen. I'm Dr. Jaime Eugene von Hardy. I am a scientist, as many of you are, here proudly representing Johns Hopkins Pro UAW, the future union for postdocs and research associates of Johns Hopkins University. We are all here today in solidarity to support our national scientific research institutions and the many workers who make them run and have been attacked by the Trump administration and its executive orders. We are also here loudly to advocate for a strong federal agency that provides resources nationwide to its investigators whose interests are driven by curiosity, empathy, and duty to ourselves and our neighbors. Profit-driven scientific research is prone to bias and conflicts of interest, as the kind of trial and error inherent in scientific research often gets in the way of high profits and shareholder values. When a child has a rare form of cancer, the incentive to explore a cure or develop treatments lies in the fact that we, as a society, value human life. Most of us already know how difficult it is to do science under our current working conditions. We have low salaries and suboptimal benefits relative to the years of education and work experience we have gathered. All of us do unique work that only a few others can do. We work long hours and sacrifice weekends to advance our research. We even postpone advancing our personal lives, like starting a family or buying a home. And as many of you as at Hopkins are immigrants, which is true for postdoctoral fellows across the country, I cannot tell you how difficult it is to do this life-altering work with the constant anxiety and the mental health toll that looms over us while we work, with the fear that losing our jobs also threatens our ability to stay here in the United States. The new administration, by butchering our budget and electing anti-science leadership, is exacerbating all these aforementioned problems. The funding it will only lead to the further detriment of America's ability to make discoveries, develop treatments, and advance technology. I stand in front of you all today not to sow despair, but to urge my fellow researchers to show our collective strength. Such strength is only obtained when we build community, support each other, and organize. As Hopkins Pro UAW, we will join our fellow researchers unions, such as the NIH Fellows Union, UMD Grad Labor Union, Teachers and Researchers United at Hopkins, and all the many unions taking action today across the country as a part of a higher education labor union movement in the fight against the unprecedented cuts that threatens the country's research, our patients, and our livelihoods. Only through a coordinated effort across academia will we move the institutions. So I appreciate everyone for being here today and for the privilege to speak to you all on behalf of my union and academic researchers across the country. Solidarity to you all, today, tomorrow, and forever.
When I say science, you say yeah, science. Yeah, science. Yeah. When I say healthcare, you say yeah, healthcare. Yeah, healthcare. Yeah.
And joining us now, also from Johns Hopkins, from True UE, we have graduate worker Marie Pierce.
Hey y'all, it's amazing to see so many people here today. I'm going to be reading a statement from another worker at Johns Hopkins, another grad worker at our union who wasn't able to make it here today, but our public health department has been really, oh, can you guys hear me now? Okay, louder, okay. Closer. It's amazing to see everyone here today. I'm going to be reading a statement on behalf of another worker from Hopkins who couldn't make it. We have had really massive impacts on our public health department as well as everyone who does biomedical research at Hopkins. So in the flurry and fervor that's happened in the wake of the executive orders that have attacked the NIH's ability to scientifically evaluate and fund research, what I think has been missed is the fundamentally human costs that these cuts present. The vast majority of news articles I've seen, both in defense of the current administration and the DOGE's attempt to cut costs and maximize efficiency, and many of the responses criticizing those cuts have primarily spoken in purely numeric terms of the dollar amount saved, percentages, and deficits that will be incurred. I think any amount of public support for these cuts and limitations on life-changing and life-saving research, and make no mistake, that is what the NIH funds, is in part our failure as researchers to communicate to the public what federal funding truly allows us to do. So I want to talk to you today, not in terms of dollars, but in terms of the human cost that will occur should the NIH's ability to effectively process, evaluate, and fund research is impeded by unnecessary and unjustified restrictions. The NIH's total operating budget makes up less than 1% of the total federal budget every year, but that impact on saving and improving human life is immeasurable. At Hopkins alone, these executive orders threaten to jeopardize roughly 600 current and ongoing clinical trials in cancer, pediatrics, children's health, heart and vascular studies, and the aging brain, among many others. The care, treatments, and medical breakthroughs these trials offer are not overhead or excess spending costs, but offer a hope and scientific progress to families in their greatest need. The consequences of cuts to NIH and public health research have not only direct effects, but also indirect effects on the state-run programs, because states must now determine how to make up budget deficits as allocations to state public health programs are also beginning to dry up, which is ironic from an administration that claims to be prioritizing states' rights. In Maryland, these cuts to federal funding have resulted in the state government being forced to consider ending key services for individuals battling addiction that are necessary to staunch the fourth wave of the opioid epidemic. The rapid shift to a ban on DEI measures presents a moral, ethical, and scientific cost to research. These executive orders against wokeness have resulted in clinical care disruptions. Studies that explore pregnancy and maternal health outcomes for pregnant people have been shuttered. Emerging areas of research are being stunted at their nascency as pre- and postdoctoral grants are being canceled. At Hopkins, there are currently 81 doctoral workers whose dissertations are being funded through F-31 grants, 34 of which are F-31Ds. The evaluation criteria and scientific merit for F-31Ds are identical to F-31s. The sole difference between the two is that an F-31D specifically supports training for individuals from underrepresented backgrounds in the biomedical sciences. These 34 doctoral workers and their commitments to the communities they serve as researchers and clinicians are threatened by this administration's cuts, not because their research is not scientifically rigorous or worthy, but solely because this administration believes they are not worthy. Workers who thought they had secured external funding and were planning on defending their dissertations by May 2026 are now being told they must finish by this August or leave their programs. This is not only appalling because these disruptions are placing doctoral workers' dissertations at risk, but also presents a bioethical problem. By stopping funding mid-grant, this administration is forcing researchers to renege on research commitments made to already underserved communities, a serious breach of trust. This threatens to undo decades worth of work to rebuild trust in vulnerable and marginalized communities that were historically taken advantage of in biomedical research. Violating this tenuous trust has been built by defunding virtually all grants to the National Institute on Minority Health and Health Disparities, will set health research back decades. Moreover, this administration is doing so under the guise that we should be studying all populations equally for all problems, which is neither scientifically reasonable nor economically efficient. Not all populations are at the same risk for the same outcomes. Why would or should we allocate resources to studying or trying to prevent the spread of HIV amongst elderly white women when the risk of HIV transmission is virtually zero? Or why would we study pregnancy outcomes in straight men? Or what is the point of studying the efficacy of novel prostate cancer in females? Diversity of background, experiences, and thought only strengthens research because it improves the number of eyes, angles, and perspectives on a problem. It causes us to reconsider issues and pose new and better questions. It pushes the field forward and allows for new answers and solutions to be found. Cuts to scientific research present no real benefits and all but guarantee preventable costs to human life.
Fun, don't freeze! 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 Fun, don't freeze!
All right.
Yeah!
Next up, we have Kaylin Price. She is a neuroscience graduate worker at the newly formed George Washington University, too. George Washington University Grad Workers United. Part of SEIU Local 500.
What's up, everybody? It is such an honor to be here. My name is Kaylin Price. I'm a neuroscience graduate student, graduate worker with GWU2. So where are my GWU2 folks? We just won our election, 99.4% yes. Graduate workers are ready to work not just for science, but for the betterment of all mankind by doing research. We are organized because you have to be organized. You have to out-organize fascism. We are here with the SEIU Local 500 with amazing support, solidarity with all of the other workers here. And it is important that we understand exactly what is at stake right now. I am a proud HBCU educated scientist from North Carolina A&T State University, where I got my undergraduate degree in biology. And I know exactly what it means to do work that is great work with less than what you should have. My brilliant current advisor put it like this: cutting indirect costs is like telling a football team to do their work with only the players and the coach. No lights for the field, no physical therapist for the players, no water for the showers. Just tell them, get out there and do it. What's the problem? You've got to think about what they're telling you and why they're misleading you. They want you to be angry and misinformed, incensed and ignorant. They want you, Trump and his unelected billionaire backers, want you to look at the people like us making $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a year, working late nights through the weekends because we believe that much in the work that we do as the enemy. We need 2 and 3 roommates to keep doing the work that we do because we believe it's that important. We are not the enemy. Our colleagues that we are also organizing with, who keep the fume hoods running, who keep the electricity running, are not your enemy. They're your neighbors, they're your friends, and they are helping to make sure that the work that we do is possible. It isn't just enough to have a good idea. You need a building to do it in. You need lights. You need clean water. You need all of the materials that keep a facility running. So saying facility and administration like it's a bad word is ignorant. It is unacceptable that we have to be out here begging for money that is already guaranteed. What they are doing is theft. They are stealing from you, from me, and it's crazy that it's tax season. I'm not even making that much, and I'm watching it go away. They want to fund $18 billion in government contracts to Elon Musk, but they're telling us that the work that we do is bloat and excess. So I want to leave you with a chant. More funding, not less. End research funding theft. More funding, not less. End research funding theft. More funding, not less. End research funding theft. Keep coming out here. Keep telling people what you do and why it's important. Let people know that we cannot survive as a society without the work that scientists, clinicians, and educators do every single day.
All right. And now we have heard from some of our workers here at NIH, down the street at George Washington University, up in Baltimore at Johns Hopkins. And now we will hear from Senator of our great state of Maryland, a champion for higher education and for labor, Senator Chris Van Hollen.
Thank you, great patriots all. Are we going to shut down the illegal Elon Musk takeover of the government? You bet we are. We're going to fight this in the courts. We're going to fight this in the Congress, and there can be no business as usual in the Congress. And we're going to fight this in gatherings like this all over the country, because we need to shut down this illegal operation. I want to thank all of you. All of you are dedicated to protecting the public health. All of you are dedicated to making sure that we do the medical research that saves lives. And there's no sugarcoating this. These cuts will kill more Americans. When you conduct research into cancer, into diabetes, into Alzheimer's, into heart disease, and into all the other diseases that plague American families, you are saving lives. And taking that away will result in more Americans dying early and more American suffering. Are we going to let that happen? No! Hell no. So what is this all about? What is this all about? It is about the great betrayal by Donald Trump. Look, on the campaign trail, what did he say he would do? He said he was going to cut prices. He said he was going to look out for working people. But as soon as he was sworn in, he began that great betrayal. He ended up slashing important services like medical research that help every American family to make way for and pay for what the next step they're going to take is, which is tax cuts for very wealthy Americans at the expense of everybody else. Are we going to let that happen? And who did he bring in to do his dirty work? Elon Musk. Elon Musk. So this is the most corrupt bargain in American history. Elon Musk spent $280 million to elect Donald Trump. And Donald Trump turned around and gave the keys to federal agencies to Elon Musk. And make no mistake, and you know this has nothing to do with greater government efficiency. Nothing. This has everything to do to taking over the reins of government, to serve the already powerful, and to slash public services that help every American, to make more room for tax cuts for Elon Musk. That is what this corrupt bargain is all about. Are we going to shut it down? Yeah! We're going to shut it down because we're going to get the story out there to every American. They, as you said, they want all of us to be quiet. They want us to just suck it up. Are we going to suck it up? No! Hell no. So what this is about is not lowering prices and not helping working people. This is about enacting Project 2025. Now, I don't know about all of you, but I dare say you do remember that when he was on the campaign trail and when he was asked about Project 2025, Donald Trump's like, I don't know what that is. Who are those? Who are those people? That was the big lie. That was the big lie. And why did he pretend to know nothing about it? Because he knew how unpopular it is to enact those provisions. But that is, in fact, what they're doing. They're not doing what he said he was going to do on the campaign trail. He's enacting Project 2025, which he said he knew nothing about. And in fact, Russ Vought is the guy who co-authored Project 2025, and he is now in the cockpit of the White House when it comes to federal agencies. So are we going to shut down Project 2025? Because, you know, if you're about creating more efficiency, you don't fire all the IGs, first of all, do you? I mean, the IGs are there to look out for waste, fraud, and abuse. So firing the IGs actually clears the way for more corruption. So we can shut down everything we can in order to make sure that we shut down the Elon Musk operation. I want to thank all of you who are doing that, because at the end of the day, you are here to save lives. We need to make sure we get it done. Thank you all very, very much for what you do.
Across Maryland and DC. We've got workers from UAW, Pro Stocks, researchers organized, UAW Pro, can I hear you? We have researchers from UAW, Graduate Labor United, UAW Glue, UMD. researchers here from UAW 2750 NIH Fellows United! All right, worker power, scientist power, researcher power, that's what drives this. And so now we're going to hear from more of those folks. One after the other, you are going to hear story after story of how people, workers just like you and me, have been affected over the last few weeks. So here we are. Our first speaker up here, we've got Jordan Lara.
Hi, everyone. My name is Alexander Jordan Lara, and I am speaking here in my personal capacity. I was a member of Dr. Lawrence Tabak's lab, and I want to tell you a story about how last week aged me a year. For those of you who may not know, he was the acting director of the NIH and the longest-serving deputy director in NIH's history. 10:30, Tuesday night, I got a surprise email from Dr. Tabak saying that he was to be retiring immediately. It was obvious to me and anyone who has wrinkles in their brain that he was forced into leaving the NIH. If they can force out the top NIH official, what do they plan to do with the rest of us? Don't worry, they answered that really quickly with their assault on probationary workers. In between experiments on Friday, I ran around my institute collecting people's testimonies, contact information, while trying to provide resources, guidance, and reassurance. The most productive and accomplished fellows in my institute were facing the prospect of losing their jobs, careers, and visa status, all because of the whims of some oligarchs. This week, these same workers are expected to continue as if business is usual. How can we expect people to discover cures and treatments when they're occupied discovering if they still have a job? The end of the week left me with some hope. In a lab full of scientists concerned about their co-workers' livelihood, science, and the country at large, it was clear to me that we're all in this together, just as we are today. When they come for one of us, they come for all of us. And we are here to say enough is enough, because when we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Milo Taylor, and I'm a member of UAW 2750, also known as NIH Fellows United. And frankly, I don't want to be here. I want to be in my lab focusing on my research, but I can't. I want to be building community with queer scientists that I have been proud to lead, but I can't. This is because on January 21st, the current administration instituted a ban on DEIA positions and programs in the federal government. Overnight, my group's website was taken down and colleagues I'd worked beside for years were out of a job. 2 years of our blood, sweat, and tears, building networks, fostering community, and many more of history before us, reduced to broken links and uncertainty. In the wake of such a clear attack on my queer colleagues, how can any of us go about our day-to-day work? Through community, we have found a way. Despite bans on presenting our research, halts on funding, and direct attacks on our identities, we have passed candidacy exams, been accepted to graduate school, all while raising our voices to protect our fellow scientists. While some may think the administration's actions are a bold display of strength, I think they're a clear admission of fear. This administration knows the power we have when we stand together, and that's why they're trying to undermine us. You can eliminate DEIA. You can stall our research, but we are not going anywhere. We will work together to protect every single one of us. Fellow organizers, do not give them the satisfaction of succumbing to the overwhelm. Keep raising your voices. Keep excelling at what you do and remind them why they should fear our power.
Hello, my name is Connor Phillips, and I'm with NIH Fellows United. As you've heard from others today, the NIH is what makes the U.S. the world leader in biomedical research. The best scientists come here because we can solve the world's most challenging problems in health. You may not be able to tell by looking at me, but I have cerebral palsy. I am this healthy because of therapies developed in the US that helped rewire my brain after a stroke, allowing me to live my fullest life. My experience inspired me to become a scientist at the NIH, where I have developed new therapies to improve the lives of other children with cerebral palsy and help develop a new understanding of how the brain functions. Now, as a result of these cuts from the Trump administration, I am prevented from continuing this research, even as an unpaid volunteer. When I hear people say these cuts are making our government more efficient, I am at a loss. How can that be true when I am prevented from working for free? As someone who hopes to be a great scientist one day, I'm questioning whether that will be still possible in the United States. If this story speaks to you, call your senators and tell them to fund our science.
Don't freeze! Don't freeze! Don't freeze! Don't freeze! Don't freeze!
My name is Rakshita Balaji, and I'm a research fellow at the National Institutes of Health and also a proud member of NIH Fellows United UAW 2750. My work centers around understanding the science behind chronic pain, which afflicts about 1/4 of adults in America, with conditions ranging from migraine to arthritis to fibromyalgia. My colleagues and peers at the NIH are some of the most talented and passionate people I know and have had the absolute privilege of training alongside. And it has been absolutely shattering to our community. The people I care about suffer from this undeserved stress, confusion, and frustration in their posts, to policing speech around equity and inclusion. This administration has punished dedicated employees from our life-saving work, causing harm that will extend into the lives of every American who seeks a better quality of life from our medical breakthroughs. As scientists, researchers, and clinicians, it is imperative that we may be able to continue our work free of this pervasive threat posed by condemnable directives that are antithetical to the missions of public health, knowledge, and justice in the United States.
Hi all, I'm Dr. Amanda Shaver. I'm an NIH NRSA supported postdoctoral fellow at Johns Hopkins University. I've been working in the fields of biology and genetics since 2006, and it's been my long-term goal to become a professor, to inspire people to become scientists, and to conduct science that will actually improve the lives of others. I studied genes responsible for drug resistance in parasitic worms that cause debilitating diseases to approximately 2 billion people worldwide. I've worked really hard for the last 19 years to build a career in science, and these NIH cuts and loss of funding opportunities have not only threatened my current research, but will jeopardize my future research and my ability to pursue science and stay employed in my own country. America has been at the forefront of science and a leader in the world, but implementing all the cuts and restructuring proposed by the Trump administration will devastate science and healthcare in America. These cuts in science will diminish our standing in the world. Thank you.
Stand up! Fight back! Stand up! Fight back! Stand up! Fight back! Stand up! Fight back! Fight back! Fight back!
Hi, everybody. My name is Summer Harvey. I am an epidemiologist and a graduate student at George Washington University. I'm here with SCIU Local 500, and I'm a former member of NIH Fellows United. I am still researching at the NIH in a capacity as a volunteer, and that's where I personally have experienced censorship. I do research in cancer screening. I do research in gynecology. And because I was researching gynecologic disease in queer women, I was told that even though I don't get paid by the NIH, that I need to publish that research through my affiliations at GW, which is why, as a graduate worker, I know that we need a strong contract that says from GW, they will protect our right to do our research well and to protect us from censorship. So that's my story, but I actually have a story from one of our colleagues at the GW Cancer Center who can't be here today.
Dr. Mandy Pratt Chapman. This is from her. I'm sorry I cannot be at the rally today as I have a competing commitment on the West Coast. Thank you for defending research and scientific truth. I never thought it would be remarkable to point out that telling the truth matters. Simply saying something exists or doesn't exist, happened or didn't happen, does not make it so. Despite the reality show antics of politics in 2025, the truth still matters. So do people and so does science. On January 31st, I received a phone call that my National Cancer Institute funded study was terminated. I never received a written letter, but I was told to stop work immediately and that no more research expenditures would be allowed. My study to explore how to safely collect sexual orientation and gender identity in cancer care practices was in response to the American Society of Clinical Oncology, the American Medical Association, the U.S. Preventative Services Task Force, and many other national professional standard-setting bodies that recognize that we need better data to create better clinical guidelines for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and intersex people. My research was terminated as a result of the president's executive orders, presumably the quote-unquote defending women from gender ideology, extremism, and restoring biological truth. Despite this rhetoric, nothing in this order defends women. What this administration does best is to call something the opposite of what it is and repeat it over and over again until we're confused about words even mean or what is true. This is the oldest totalitarian tactic in existence. The Defending Women Executive Order declares that basic federal policy on truth is critical to scientific inquiry, public safety, morale, and trust in government itself. I couldn't agree more. But the order then proceeds to define sex as an immutable biological classification that erases the existence of 5.6 million U.S. residents born intersex. While doctors have hidden the bodies of intersex people for centuries, this does not change the fact that 1.7% of the population is indeed intersex. The World Health Organization has only in recent years demanded an end to stigmatizing and performing surgery on healthy intersex people. Likewise, dehumanizing transgender people and defunding LGBTQI research flies in the face of scientific truth and public safety. My colleagues and I have worked hard to make healthcare kinder, more affirming, and more accessible to the 7.6% of the U.S. population that identify as LGBTQ, particularly those affected by cancer. 1 in 10 people in the nation's capital identify as LGBTQ. LGBTQI individuals have unique needs that are not historically served. LGBTQI people require tailored care across the cancer continuum. It has taken several decades to build trust among these patients and research participants so they feel safe to disclose their sexual orientation and gender identity to clinicians and researchers. I now hear every day people say they will never truthfully answer such questions again. This is understandable since all safety has been explicitly removed and our national leaders are denying their very existence. The result is that our ability to discern important patterns that can make clinical decision-making has been severely damaged. The erasure of sexual orientation and gender identity data from federal data sets and our national networks of research impairs our ability to improve clinical practice guidelines and account for differences in the physical and social reality of LGBTQI bodies that deserve health and wellness just as much as any other American. The recent politicization of federal funding under a bizarre moniker of freedom has created great strain on designing and conducting research and on the public health of our nation, eroding community trust, removing federal data sets that track cancer surveillance, censoring scientific language, freezing funds, and cutting billions of dollars from scientific research. These are extremely short-sighted and dangerous actions. We have quickly lost trust of community that have experienced the worst health outcomes in the country due to structural bias. We have lost trust of our international allies. We will lose a generation of scientists. We are turning over innovation to other countries when historically being a biomedical leader was something that we were proud of. We are watching centuries of American innovation crumble for oligarchic personal gains. Let's be clear, no one voted for cancer research. No one voted to cut cancer research. It is the hallmark of a bully to state what they simply wish to be and attempt to use force in order to bolster their sense of power. It is our civic responsibility to call out every untruth and collectively defend those in our nation who are threatened the most. Speak the truth loudly and often. Protect each other. This is civilization. This is the only way to protect true freedom, scientific truth, and the public's safeties.
Hi, my name is Bushra, and I am a writer-editor at NIH. I am speaking in my personal capacity, and my opinions are my own. On Saturday, I was terminated from my job along with more than 1,000 other NIH employees who had less than 1 year of service to the federal government. The layoffs include 2 of my colleagues who are also science writers. These layoffs have decimated our small team. We translate technical research into compelling stories and content so that you, the American public, know about the research your tax dollars are funding. We write about conditions that affect the head and neck, including cancer, facial deformities, and various infectious and chronic diseases. By providing information that is clear, accurate, and easy to understand, we help people make wise, informed decisions about their health. Clear communication about science is just as important as the science itself. If we care about government accountability and transparency, we cannot fire the passionate science writers with specialized skills who work hard every day to advance public health and serve the American people. Thank you.
All right. We here as workers, we're not just workers in science and in research and education. We are also federal workers. And so now we will hear from leaders from some of our national federal unions. And first up, we have President of IFPTE, Matt Biggs.
Yeah, and Gay Henson, our Secretary Treasurer, is here too. For folks that aren't familiar, IFPT, we represent 90,000 workers. We represent 90,000 workers throughout North America, and about 35,000 of those that we represent are federal employees, just like the federal employees you've heard from today: scientists, engineers, technicians, scientists at NASA, for example. So we're here in this fight, and I'll just say, all the unions in here, brothers and sisters, we are, and we love you all. We are the only thing, the labor movement, standing between complete anarchy in this country and bringing this country back to reason. It's the labor movement. We're going to save the country. All right? All of us. Now, I'll just say, I think I see a sign back there saying, Congress, wake up. Yeah, I'll just say this about Congress. I've heard some people back here chanting about Congress. Congress is doing as bad as Trump and Musk are. They're despicable human beings, let's just say it. As bad as they are, and they're running a coup on this country right now, and the Congress isn't doing a damn thing about it. Doing nothing. The Republicans that run the Congress, they run the whole thing. They control the whole agenda. They have handed over their legislative branch responsibilities to a couple of billionaires who are now running a coup on the country right now. Shameful, shameful. And we should hold these Republicans accountable. It's them right up there in this Congress. So I just want to say, brothers and sisters, it's us in the labor movement. We're the ones following the lawsuits. We're the ones right now out at this rally. We're holding rallies all over the country. Kudos to everyone to put this rally together and all the rallies around the country today. And we're going to stand up for the workers, all of these workers here. We love you. We're fighting with you. We're fighting with you, and we're going to stand up and take this country back from the oligarchs. Thank you.
We win. Hello, everybody. I'm Randy Irwin. I'm the president of the National Federation of Federal Employees. How you doing? Great to be here today. Boy, this is happening all across the country. What an amazing thing. We need people in the streets. People are finally waking up, seeing what's happening in this country, seeing our, the critical services that we rely on just being torn down. It's unbelievable. But I want to thank all the federal workers that are here. Just tremendous work. I'm blown away every day at the work done by our folks in the federal government. I've heard so much about what we do for public health today. I mean, what an incredible thing. And to think that we could be losing that our public will be less healthy. Unbelievable. But it's more than that. We're keeping our military ready, caring for veterans, maintaining our homeland security, clean air, clean water, safe borders, safe air travel, national parks and forests. What incredible work federal employees do every day. Okay, and we cannot let these things go away in this country. People do not even understand what this country would look like if those things actually happened. But thank you for your work, and thank you for being here and demonstrating against the tyranny that we are seeing in this country right now. So let me tell you a few things about Donald Trump and Elon Musk. They have no idea about the critical work that you do. No idea whatsoever. And they don't care. They don't care. They offered resignations to 90% of the federal government. Do you know how irresponsible that is? They are putting public safety at risk. They are inviting communities to burn. No exaggeration. They are inviting airplanes to fall out of the sky. No exaggeration. Is that acceptable? No! Is that acceptable? No! And here's another thing. And I got a message for Donald Trump. You swore an oath to the Constitution, and you are not upholding that oath. The things that he is doing are blatantly illegal. He knows it. He admits it. Under Article 2, Section 3 of the Constitution, he must faithfully execute the laws of this country. And he is not doing it. And I don't care who you are or who you voted for, you should be furious about that. And I got a message for Congress, too. What are you doing about it? Look at what we've seen. Look at the violations of the law and the Constitution, and we don't have one hearing. How gutless is this Congress? This can't continue. This cannot continue. This madness absolutely has to stop. But let me tell you, it's the folks, it's getting in the streets and delivering the message, not letting up. You can't give them an inch. We got to keep on telling the stories of the great work that federal employees do. We got to be talking to the media, talking to friends, talking to family, talking to getting on social media, and never letting up. This country is too special. We got a special thing here, and we cannot let it get taken away from us. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anthony Lee. I'm a federal worker and chapter president for NTEU, the National Treasury Employees Union, Chapter 282. We represent employees at the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA. And we're here to stand in solidarity with our brothers and sisters from UAW and from all the other unions that are here, and NIH is part of our HHS family. I lost my notes, so I'm just going to do this from memory. The statements that I'm making today are my own and do not necessarily represent the FDA, the HHS, or my union. We do still have the First Amendment, so this is free speech. And I did want to say what happened to our employees at the FDA last Saturday night and to thousands across the country was a travesty. It was disrespectful even. It was devoid of any compassion. The letters the FDA employees received told lies, essentially, that there were performance issues when there weren't performance issues. Shame. That's right. They disparaged the work that our federal employees, that FDA employees do to help protect and promote the health and safety of the public. Our staff fellows, much like those at NIH, were hit particularly hard with these wrongful firings of employees. But it wasn't only staff fellows. We had medical officers, doctors that are doing research and that are approving new drugs who were fired, attorneys, scientists, data scientists, and many others who received these notices in the late of night. Boo. That's right. And you should care, and the American public should care everywhere across the country because of the work that we do at the FDA, protecting and making sure you have safe food to eat, food that's free from contaminants or harmful ingredients, making sure that our medical products, devices, drugs, vaccines, all are safe and effective for their uses. And when we find that products are on the market that shouldn't be, that we have the ability to take them off of the market. All of that has been put in jeopardy by HHS and their actions. We do need safe food. There were other employees across HHS and CMS and CDC. The CDC works with the FDA on traceback investigations, making sure that foodborne illness won't spread and bad foods can be taken off the market. These things do not help to improve the health of the public. They harm the public. And that's why we have to stand up against these draconian items and policies that the administration is bringing forth. The tobacco research that is done in our Center for Tobacco Products had a number of people who were fired. They're doing work to make sure that our children don't get addicted to or are harmed by nicotine and tobacco products. Again, not helping the health of the public when you fire hundreds of employees across the FDA that are doing this kind of work. So we have to stand up and fight back. Thank you.
All right, now we have one final speaker. And you know, all this last hour, we have heard from people across so many different fields. And it is so clear that this touches every single one of our lives. And we are all out here doing something about it. And now to close us out, we have President of UAW 2750 NIH Fellows United, Emilia Ventriglia.
It's like Haley said, this is affecting all of us, every single one of us, your mom, your dad, you, anyone who has health, anyone who eats, anyone who ever has to go to the doctor. Every job means, every job that's lost, one less scientist who's fighting for cures, one less educator to teach the next generation, one less public servant keeping our food, keeping our environment, keeping us safe every day. Shame! Every dollar cut isn't just a shrink in the budget. It takes something from every single one of us. It's theft. It's theft from our health, our education, our security. These are extreme freezes and cuts that attack not just us, but every taxpayer. It's our rights, and this isn't over. We're not going away. We know that there's more cuts to central services coming to Americans in science, and we're not going to back down. We will not go away. Look around. Look around also to find people with clipboards. Go to them. They're going to keep you looped in because this isn't over. We have to continue fighting. Scientists, researchers, medical practitioners, public servants, we build this country together. We keep it running. And we're not going to stand by when billionaires try to tear it down. When we fight together, we win. They may have some money, but we have the real power, worker solidarity power. Good day, everybody, and I'll see you soon.
When we fight,
we win.
When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. Stand up, fight back. Stand up, fight back.
Specific kind of request for you. Do you have any laid off NIH, NSF?
I was switched over March of 24, and I was technically, but I was a staff fellow for I kind of did 2.5 years, and so it really should have been.
The ball is rolling. Let's do a meeting and talk about
Man, that was so just really.
There's been a lot of these little rallies, but honestly, I don't think it's ever supposed to be. I don't think it's going to be. We should try and do another thing around that. Beautiful rally. I love it. What's the next one?
Yeah, that was crazy. I gotta find somebody to.
They cut me down for like 2 minutes, 1 minute, like 30 seconds. I'm like, oh, God. You can pass me all your messages.
Alright, I'm feeling a lot less stressed. I feel like I have nothing to do.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah, she's roses. You taught her to do that?
They'll take it.